Hello today, and we're recruiting here for Alvastia Chronicles at the Proving Grounds as we go to take on this challenge. So, this is a Kimco RPG. Now, if you're not familiar with Kimco is a long-standing company. They've been around for quite a while. I mean, I have some games from them on the Super Nintendo, so they're not necessarily a new company around the block, but these days they do a lot of mobile JRPG titles, and most of those get ported to the consoles, and that is what we're covering today. So this is a more simple JRPG excuse me, it's morning. I need some coffee, except I don't like coffee. Anyway, so first, story setup. So you play as Alan, who's main the character. He's a silent protagonist. Interesting though, they actually explain why he's a silent protagonist. We'll get into that. And his sister, who acts as the priestess of a pillar. Long ago, there was a devastating event that destroyed the lower world. And out of mercy, heavenly beings from the sky helped raise a continent into the air that gets held up by four tower pillars that help hold the world up and seal the monsters down below. And this is where the story takes place. 10 years ago, from the start of the game, the home village of the human race was raided by monsters, and the crystal that is inside the pillar was destroyed, which allowed monsters to flood into the continent that's held above the surface world. And 10 years have passed. Alan and his sister were survivors of that attack, and his sister was to be the next priestess of the pillar in their hometown. But with the continent fell, they live on a different continent, and time has passed. But now, the monsters have returned, and they're after more death. So Alan and his sister set off on a journey to get revenge as they ran into the monster that killed their very parents in front of them for vengeance. But along their journey, they'll get many companions. Now, the big selling point of this game is that you can recruit over 100 party members into your party. So it has this whole Suikoden kind of vibe, and I love Suikoden. And similar to the generation system, it's a system you don't see very often in a different game. So that definitely piqued my interest when I was trying to look for a quickie RPG to play through that kind of do something on the side, but not necessarily start something huge and new. So This game has some interesting ideas, but it also has a lot of limitations. So let's start getting into the mechanics. So first, the companion system. So you get 3 main lead characters that act as a leader of a team, and they can have 3 companions attached to them. So this gives you a grand total of 12 party members in a battle. Now, it is important to note, this is similar to Lufia on the Game Boy Color's battle system, which used but a 3x3 grid where you could have 9 people in battle, but only 1 person in each row could go. So, like, let's say row 1 has a melee character, a buffer, and a healer. So when that row's turn came up, you could choose one of them to go. So, in a similar idea, each of the leaders go on a Grandia type line on the top screen where everyone's turns are dictated by. And when their turn comes up, either the leader or one of the 3 companions can take their turn. So this leads to an interesting amount of customization. Do you want to lean more on what the leader is? A tough melee character, magic user? Have a balanced team so you can always, like in a tough spot, everyone has a healer, so no matter whose turn, somebody can heal? How do you design your team? It's all up to you. You have over 100 companions, so you can really come up with a lot of different ideas. And many different companions have different advantages in that. Now, each companion can have up to 6 abilities attached to them. Now, a fair number of companions do have repeating abilities. There is only so many abilities, but they'll split amongst many of the characters that usually end up having a decent variety. But I would be a liar if I didn't say, like, several characters do seem a little repeaty. Like, there are some that really just seem like a copy of another character. They don't, unlike Suikoden, there's definitely not a lot of individuality between a lot of these characters. I would say a good 30 of them feel like there's a few that are just carbon copies that don't have a lot of individuality. They don't really dwell much into the companions. A few of them are interesting, some are jokes, like there's one that's named Garfield that's a cat sprite, but it identifies as a dog, but under the companion list, it's listed as an ogre that's a pet. And it also says it's proud to be an ogre under its character sheet, so... But there are some wacky, bizarre stuff. So, your companions, choices to use with who you want to choose as a companion. There's the team effect, where a certain percentage of HP, vitality, speed, strength, and intelligence is given to the team. So you can, that's one, like, say with the ogre lady, you know, she's very heavy on the melee side, so you could stack her with a bunch of people that boost strength and just make her a heavy hitter, which is exactly what happened in my playthrough. But you can customize, boost HP, boost speed, do what you want. Everyone has their own leveling system, and on top of the leveling system, you can power them up with hope stones, which just add a boost on top of their pre-existing stats. You cannot go higher than their pre-existing level. So if they're at level 20, you can only boost them with hope stones up to 20 until they level up some more. Now, in Suikoden, you basically had two types of companions. You had those who would participate with you in battle, and those who offered services like weapon, gambling, travel services, and other things in your town. Now, you don't have like a base or anything like Suikoden. You purely have fighting units. So everyone is fighting, which I think really hurt on making some of the characters unique. Like, I think maybe they should cut it down a bit below 100, maybe like 80 or 70 characters. And that way they could have gave a little bit more individuality, personality to some of the lesser characters. There are some characters that stand out with unique sprites, personalities, and there are several characters that are references to another Kemco game called Dragon Cinco, I think it was called. But on top of that, there are some other things this game does. There's the strategy meetings. So the strategy meetings, you get 2 tables and you get to fill them up with 6 characters. And they will dictate additional bonuses in the battle. So you could stack up on strength, intelligence, and other things that can cause some other effects. A plus to this is the 6 characters at both tables also level up. So this is another way to also start leveling up other characters. If you want to take the time and level up the characters, this is a way to also level them up without actually switching people in your party if you want to level everyone up. So it's a good way to get some people caught up on levels while still being useful and offering more uses for the characters, because like I said, outside the 9 companions that'll be in your main party, that gives you additional characters to do something else with. Sadly, outside that, there's nothing else to do with your companions. It would have been a little bit more interesting to maybe have some other elements, because there's no base or store system with your companions. Stores are just set to the different towns you visit over the course of the game. Outside that, it's pretty basic. You have a front and back row, so, you know, put your tank, highest HP person in the front row and everyone else in the back. So, that's pretty simple, though. With weapons, oddly enough, I wasn't expecting a system like this. It has a system to level up your weapons and transfer effects that are on those weapons. Essentially, you can feed your whatever weapon you particularly want to hold on to, you can feed it other weapons and level it up and stack more attack points on it. So essentially, like, look for a weapon with a useful ability on it, like the one I got for Alan Ragnarok, 15% more damage for each human on the team, and I just fed all the weapons into that. So find something you particularly like, feed weapons into it, and you can keep that weapon being useful for the entirety of the game. But as you get longer in the game, you will find different effects that may interest you, so you'll have to decide what you want for your 3 characters. So over the course of the adventure, you'll meet these like arch-fiends that are basically a gag of the 4 elemental fiends from Final Fantasy IV. They have to be. I mean, I don't know what else could they really be making fun of, though. But you'll run into them and other characters of the tribes of the world, which are elves, ogres, a race of essentially different furry animal, humanoid creatures. But you'll also meet monster and angel folk later in the game as well that can join and help the party. On top of all this, you do have generic quests that you can get from people in towns. There is locked doors, which, to be honest, I only ever unlocked one of them. I don't even know where you get the other keys for the other treasure troves. There's like a treasure trove in most of the town, so I don't know about that. But I didn't really need them anyway. Didn't need them anyway. So like I said, in combat, you have like a grandeur kind of bar at the top dictating people's turns. Now in combat, you can speed up combat, and it's very quick. Like, being originally a mobile game, this game is very, very portable friendly, which is good because it's on the Switch and Vita, so you can save anywhere in the game. It has a speed system to speed battle up. You can just spam an auto attack type option that'll make grinding really fast on weaker things that you don't want to dictate a option for. But I mean, even on normal speed, combat is very quick, so there's not really a lot of slowdown. Now, you do have some options to like make it the cursor stay memorized, but the thing with that I find annoying is every time combat starts, it always starts the cursor on attack. Even though if you like did a skill, it'll remember the skill you stayed on, but it'll go and default onto attack. And I kind of feel like it makes the memory thing slightly useless when it's not actually starting it on skills, so you can just, you know, spam your hit all on garbage mobs and that. Now, this is where we're going to get in some mobile stuff. So, sadly, being originally a mobile JRPG, there are mobile affections into this game, sadly. So, the first thing is treasure chests. So, you have a chance of treasure chests dropping from mobs. Treasure chests go into a system where you can hold up to 4 chests, and depending on the quantity, or not the quantity, the quality of the chest, there's a timer attached to it. If it's a wooden chest, there is no timer. You can open it immediately. Every other tier has, I think it's 15, 30, and then an hour. So 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and an hour, I believe, are the 3 different above tiers of wooden. Now, you can get a key that instantly unlocks it now. I did not need this. I never got the option to get a 4th chest. I mean, an option to get a 5th chest. So, and usually I always have a slot most of the time anyway. But that's up to you if you really want to get the goodies inside instantaneously. I hardly had to use items. Like, they give you tons and tons of items just from generic chests. And even with all those, I didn't even use any of them. I mean, I have all kinds of stat boosting items for strength and vitality and shit I've never even used. Because the game was pretty easy, honestly. It's not hard at all, so. But there are many goodies like that to increase stats or max out stats, and then there are ways to get them in the game, both easy and slightly annoying. On top of that, you have the ticket system Pillow Killer game. So when you go to access the Pillow Killer game, you actually have to autosave the game, though you can save in different slots. So what the Pillow Killer game is you can either use these purple gems that you can earn from battle, or you can also buy them, I believe. Let me go to the shop thing. I think it lets you buy them. Let's see, damage Master Orb, Encounter Master Orb, Experience Master Orb. Okay, no, you just get packs that boost effects. Okay, well, in the game, you can earn these gems, and there'll never be more or less than 10 gems whenever you do earn them. You're not guaranteed them every battle. Now, these gems can be used to either buy some items, which actually have those orbs actually in there. Weapon Orb, Hope, Coin Orbs, Pillar Stones, which are sold for money. A lot of different effects. There are also several keys in here, like the Butler key, which is needed for a whole side dungeon thing, which is weird. And there's also some weapon effects things you can get in here too. So, depending on how you want to use them. I used the gems just exclusively for Pillar Killers. So, Pillar Killers has two different settings for it. You have the one that uses the gems, and you have the one that uses tickets. Now, I have a sneaking suspicion, because I've only did the gem one twice, because gems you get very slowly. Well, tickets is another item you can get from drops from monsters, and you can use a ticket to do one of that. I've done the ticket thing multiple times, but I only did the gem one twice because it is very slow getting those gems. So you have to grind a lot to get those. But I feel like there's either a completely different drop weight effect on the gear and things you can get from this game, depending on if you're using gems or tickets, or that tickets can't access certain items. I'm not sure which of the two, because there's not a lot of details on it, but my experience, I was able to get some really good things when I did it with the gems versus tickets. Now, in Pillar Killers, you can get companions, weapons, items, and things, and the companions you can get, like, that is when this game broke for me. When I got 2 companions from Pillar Killers, they are both references to Dragon Single. The game just started cracking and breaking. In my favor. Not against me, but severely cracking. Like, I was able to make Wayne, like, really fucking powerful. Like, I literally was dealing, like, in the level 3 range, she could crit into, like, 20 plus K damage when everyone else was doing, like, 2,000 damage average. It was getting ridiculous. And it only got more ridiculous as the game kept going. Because it just gives you so many things that are overpowered that can keep increasing your stats and everything. Or stacking companions and shit. Now, another mechanic that's in the combat, one more thing that's unique about the combat is Alan's sister. Now, Alan's sister stays with the party the entire game, and she even participates in combat, but she herself doesn't fight. What happens is you basically have this limit break kind of system called the BSG that fills up very slowly. And I mean very slowly. But when it does fill up, this gives you a new option. When selected, you, on the current character whose turn it is, you basically will let everyone in that team be able to do an attack at one time. This is a great way to do massive, insane damage that is ridiculous. I've just simply destroyed many bosses. Like, hell, even the final boss, I basically destroyed 98% of his health by doing this with just one kill. It is incredibly overpowered, and it is the very few times you may have trouble in this game, it is definitely something to lean on to get through the fight. It is definitely a lifesaver. There are a few times where, like, there are 2 bosses, I believe, that actually nearly wiped me, and it saved my ass. So it's definitely a lifesaver. It definitely is. Now, the difficulty curve is pretty much all over the place in this fucking game because of the mobile system. If you got rid of the mobile system, it would still be easy, but the mobile systems of the pillow killers and shit give you don't know what you can get from them. You can get access to really powerful things that can just basically shadow the game. So the difficulty curve is all over the place, dependent on if you really use this system or not. Now, I picked this game just as something short to play through, so I decided I would make use of everything in the game. I was debating on whether I wanted to ban it to make it challenging, but I picked this game to play to make it a short, quick type thing experience, so I figured I would use it. And boy, it just breaks the game really bad. So, I mean, it doesn't make the game necessarily bad, but if you're coming in here wanting, like, you know, a Dragon Quest XI, Persona 3 kind of challenge, then you have came to the wrong place, because even if you don't use them, you're not going to get a lot of challenge out of this. On top of that, there's a arena system in this game where you earn butler coins, where you can unlock even more powerful gear and companions, which I didn't mess with those, because you needed a lot of butler coins, and you only get, like, at the last cup I cleared, you could get like 80 something going through each one. So I was like, and like for the companions you needed like 6,000. So I was like, I'm not gonna really bother with this unless the game gets like really hard or something, which it didn't. If anything, it just got more severely easy for the most part, honestly. It just became more and more broken the further I got into the game. Now, the game, like I said, really does feel like it's good for the mobile experience. You can save anywhere. You can fast travel anywhere on the world map. You can just immediately exit out of dungeons whenever without using an item. Hell, they even make most quests easy with this system where they use these stones. You give this teleporting stone to anyone who has a request, and once you complete it, you can just go to your sub-quests on your menu, and you get the reward teleported to you. And if it's something like you went out to get something for them, you teleport to them, so you don't have to go right back to the NPC to exchange dialogue for it. So they really made everything streamlined for the mobile experience. So in that sense, if you're wanting a quickie type RPG that's friendly to pull out and then put away, like, it's definitely good for that sense. So like I said, I feel like this definitely caters more to the Vita and Switch if you go portable with those versus being stuck on your Xbox, Switch, or PS4 on your big screen TV. Now, what would I say this game's value is to you? Oh, and it is on Steam also. It's on Steam also. So, you know, it's on just about everything you get out. Now, you're looking at $15 digitally if you get this game. And I'm not actually sure what it goes for on eBay for the Limited 1 version, which I think was only PS4, I think. A few of the titles they did Vita back, you know, when the Limited 1 still was able to do Vita for America. I don't think this was one of them. Let's see. It doesn't look like it. I don't see any Vita versions. So, if you want the physical version, which as far as I know for this particular title is only in the limited 1 version, because there was a collection of 4 games on the Switch. I don't think this one was a part of it. I would have to double check that. I will take a double look at that if I can find it. I know PlayAsia had it. I'm pretty sure this wasn't in it. But for the limited 1 version that's on PS4, this is actually kind of a pricey-ish title considering what it is. You're looking between $60 to $80 from the few listings that are on eBay. There aren't too many. There's only currently about 10, so you're not looking at too many. So let's see. So looking at the collection on PlayAsia for the Switch, it does not... Oh, they actually got multiple volumes now. Wow. They're up to volume 5 on the PS4, but only in Japan. The multi-language one is only on volume 1. So let me take a quick look to make sure. Of course, if you get the Japanese version, you're only getting Japanese. Okay, here we go. So, it is in Volume 2 on the PS2, the Kimco RPG Selection Volume 2 on PS4, which currently only has a Japanese version. So, I don't know. I would imagine it doesn't have English. It lists... No, it does not list any text options. So likely you're just going to have Japanese text, likely. Though there is the possibility, because Volume 1 got a multi-language version on the Switch. So if you are interested in this title and you definitely want it in English, you might want to keep an eye on or bother Kimco about the multi-language version for Volume 2. But it is in Volume 2 on the PlayStation 4. It comes with 3 other titles. It is currently $48.99 on PlayAsia, not counting shipping. So that's another loot if you want to avoid the more pricey limited 1 version. The story is pretty basic. You might have to look up a little bit about where to go. But to be fair, the game actually, that actually brings up a thing. When you go on the map, there's a golden glow where you're supposed to go. So actually, you could make use of that if you want to play the Japanese version of this game. So, but still, that's kind of pricey. Honestly, in a price sense, it took me 21 hours to get the true ending in this game, and we'll get in about true ending in the spoilers. But it took me 21 hours to get the true ending, so it's not a super long RPG, but it's not like it's 5 hours under short RPG either. I think $12.99 is an okay price for this game, especially if you're getting it for the portability, because like I said, it is very friendly in those regards. Traveling around, saving whenever you want and such, being able to leave a dungeon instantaneously so you can go to town and get items and stuff. Quick, fast battles. Most boss battles didn't even last very long. You'll be hard pressed to find a battle that lasts very long, so this is definitely great for actually on the go and such. So, but what I really recommend playing this game on your consoles on the big screen. If you got stuff like Persona 5 and Dragon Quest 11 stuff to do, or even older titles of those kind of series, those are definitely worth your time more than this. But is this a terrible game? It's definitely a mixed game because of the choices they did with the mobile shop system and things to break the game, essentially, if you want to speed up progression in the game. I would imagine the game would be longer if I had banned the Pillow Killer game. But honestly, I would say just not worry about it because it's a pretty much throwaway game. Is it a bad throwaway game? Like, it's a maybe a better way to put it is time waster game. Like, it's not bad in my opinion. It definitely had some interesting ideas that I would definitely like to see in a more of a proper JRPG without all the mobile crap. So, considering this is from the developers of Dragon Single, as far as I understand, hopefully maybe if they do a sequel of some kind, they will build upon the system they got here. Because I think it is an interesting system. I would have liked to see some more ideas at what they could do with companions to make more companions even more useful. Because, I mean, that is something you can even criticize Suikoden of. That you get so many companions, you have to go out of your way to really try out everyone. So, it does still have that kind of problem, but the strategy room and that each leader gets 3 characters, you know, you had a party of 6 people in Suikoden, so, you know, you get 9 companions used in your main party, and you get 2 strategy tables with 6 people at each one in your strategy room. So, you do get some more use out of more characters, but it would have been interesting to see them try some more stuff. But I would just definitely recommend this game as a time waster if you use your Vita, Switch, or your phone on the mobile. It's kind of hard to recommend sitting down on your big screen TV when there are hundreds, whether it be new or old, really good JRPGs you could be experiencing over this. But if you're looking for something that's short, quick, and not very complicated story-wise, I could recommend this title. Like I said, I just basically went to 21 hours for the true ending, so it's a short, simple, not overly complex storyline or anything, and everything's quick in it, so... And if I didn't waste so much time looking for companions, I probably could have shaved off several hours, probably. So, overall, I recommend it for time wasting, kill some time on the go, car trips, airplane trips, things like that. But, obviously, you know your taste better than I do, and I'm here just to give you information so you can make a better judgment call. But I basically think the value is a $12 value or $12.99, so maybe $13. Somewhere around now. I think 15 might be just a... I mean, it's not like the end of the world, but... I would have liked it a little more substance in the context of the story and characters for 15 myself. That's probably my biggest criticism, is a lot of companions are very, very flat. But there are those that are unique, so... Anyway, so let's get into spoilers. Spoilers. So you go on your journey, you run into these archfiends and such, you see trouble and stuff go on. And it basically leads up to the other 3 pillars getting destroyed and monsters pouring into the upper continent. So the heroes basically go back to the surface world, kick all their asses, and the day is saved. Or is it? After you finish that, you get some text saying you've unlocked an extra chapter, which I don't know if this was additional content for the console versions or if this existed in the original mobile version. I'm not really sure, but it does feel a little tacked on. But it is something extra. So you save on a new slot or save over your old one, but it does warn you if you want to re-experience that boss fight and ending. If you save over it, you won't be able to re-experience it on the new save. So, you know. But you load up the new data, and it picks up after the ending a half year after, and trouble is brewing again. You get a message from the Archfiend, the original boss, and you go back down to the lair, and you find out there might be a lot more to what's going on than seemed, as you find out that the bad guys were actually originally of the angel race that lived above, that helped raise the continent up into the air. Now, you go up there and you find out that they massively murdered the royals of their society, and they somehow ended up down below to cause chaos. What you find out is that it was a political scheme of the minister wanting to try and take over by killing the royals. He spent 500 years trying to do this, and he fucked it all up. You kick his ass, and you get the true ending. Nothing too amazing now. There are some plot things I just skipped though about Alan and his sister that actually get revealed in this final chapter, but I'm just gonna leave those. I don't like to spill all the beans, but I have to kind of say the plot twist there, I was kind of getting the vibe. Actually, I probably should just talk about that. So, Alan and his sister have like the big brother complex kind of stereotype thing from some animes where the sister gets jealous of women hitting on Alan and she's protective of her big brother and that. Now, I've seen some reviews say like this bothered them because it made them think it's trying to suggest the incest. And I mean, obviously, yes, that's terrible shit, but I don't really get that vibe, honestly. I just consider it a ha-ha, funny kind of, she's jealous that Wayne's hitting on her brother kind of thing of that. But, I was starting to get the feeling that there might be the possibility of the twist that happened in the final chapter between Alan and his sister might happen to, like, not some of the other stuff that happened in it, but the one detail to rule them all. But even when that detail is revealed, nothing really happens between the two. So yeah, I feel like people are overreacting now because I just feel like that's more for ha-has. But there is a lot of flirting with the three different main characters of that. So. Because, like, the elf guy is a big Johnny Bravo type womanizer. So, you know, and Wayne hits on Alan several times. So there's kind of a flirty, weird triangle going on in that. But you get the ending. The elf and Wayne get together. Gil and Wayne get married. And he has a heart attack when she's like, I want 10 children. It's like, that was actually funny. But, it's a simple ending, nothing too crazy. I did like a few of the plot things. Like I mentioned, Alan was a silent protagonist. But he actually does talk a few rare times in the game. The explanation is the tragedy that happened back on their home continent caused him to become a mute. But there's a few instances where he overcomes that and is able to talk again. And by the end of the game, he's able to talk normally again. So I kind of like how they incorporated that as part of the story and didn't just make a lot of awkwardness on where it's only choices that you, the player, can make that. Like, I thought that was kind of a nice way of incorporating that. And there's a few nice little twists, but very small, minor things. Overall, it's a very simple and generic feeling game outside of the companion Suikoden element of the game. If it wasn't for that, this would be a very plain JRPG. But because of it, it makes it an interesting system. So, but I would still say, even though it added some interesting ideas, again, it's more of a time waster game. But like I said, you yourself are the better judge of what you like. I'm just here to give you details so you can be better informed to make that decision. So anyway, those are my thoughts on the game. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave a comment down below or message me on Twitch. If you feel like you learned anything interesting, please feel free to leave a like. And if you think you learned absolutely nothing at all, feel free to leave a dislike guilt-free. And until next time, take it easy out there in the proving ground.